What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I have another one of my requested tops list videos to share with you guys today. Now, this video wasn't particularly requested by anyone, but I thought that for the current time, I thought this would be a really interesting topic to go over. In this particular episode, I will be going over my top 5 personal favorite Call of Duty games. Now, like always, this is my own personal opinion, so don't feel a little bit upset if you feel that there's a particular game that should be on this list that isn't, and don't be surprised if there's a couple of entries that there's a good chance you've never even heard of. So, starting off real simple with number 5 on my list, and I picked the very first Call of Duty. Now, you kind of have to add the first Call of Duty onto this because that was really the game that really started it all. It was very simple, the missions were very simple, and although I don't recall the stories being all that interesting, I did like that they did focus on multiple different perspectives and didn't just focus on America's forces. There's definitely a lot of room for improvement at the time, but you know, it's a good thing that I do believe that they released an HD version of it, which came with Black Ops 1, which I did happen to get a chance to play. And I just thought that it would set the foundation of what shooters for that period would be, and I think that when any game can do that, that's definitely worth some serious recognition. That leads me on to number 4 on my list, and I picked Call of Duty Big Red 1. Now, for those of you that don't know, I am a serious history buff, so anytime you can focus on an individual group of men from a past war, you know you'll have my attention. And I actually did take a class not too long ago, kind of going over specific units that fought during World War II, and one of them that we did happen to go over was the Big Red 1, which is, they considered themselves to be kind of one of the most elite teams for the American forces on the European theater. And I'm glad that we actually, I believe this was the first Call of Duty, to me at least, where we actually give you a set group of characters and you got to know them over the course of the game. I don't recall actually going to other parties, but you were stuck with this team, so you got to know their names, you got their personalities, you got to know what their advantages and disadvantages. And when a character particularly died, you know, you did feel a little bit of emotional connection, because nowadays you're stuck with maybe 1 or 2 extra characters as AI partners, but in this game you actually had a whole team. I think you had at least 5 or 6 characters, and they all had great names and personalities, and that's really something I think the Call of Duty franchise is missing. They kind of want to keep it focused to like a small group of friends instead of a team, which, you know, in my opinion, I believe wars are won by teams, not individuals, which unfortunately these modern games have decided not to focus on. And that's why I decided to put it as number 4 on my list. Going on into number 3, I picked Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. Now, this one you kind of have to add on your list if you decide to do a list like this. Now, the thing that really made that game cool was that really did revolutionize Call of Duty. I mean, the point between 3 and 4 was really the dividing point, and we are kind of still in the era of 4. And I think that for the time, it would also set the foundation of exactly what first-person shooters were going to strive for. And I believe that was really the beginning of its major popularity with the whole enhancing the multiplayer experience. And that really just has continued for these past, I want to say, 6 to 7 years. And it did have some of the more effective moments where I asked a couple friends who actually do serve in the military forces, and although they did say that a couple moments were a bit exaggerated, that it's as close to a modern war as you could expect without actually having to fight in a modern war. So I do appreciate that I did kind of get a small taste of what it's like to actually be on and be shipped over. But I mean, maybe not, but you know, in a movie sense, which is why I placed it as number 3 on my list. Going on into number 4, I picked Call of Duty Black Ops 1. Now, this is another game that was able to kind of, in my opinion, it focused on an area of time that's very controversial, which involved the Vietnam War. And I like how it focused on Black Ops missions, because, you know, those are kind of, the title Black Ops signifies that, you know, a small group of people are going to handle a major situation. And I like how they were actually able to incorporate certain moments in history or certain historical figures and kind of show how Black Ops works. And I thought the main character was very interesting, and I liked that this was the first time we actually had a character that could talk. All the previous games before, you were playing as like a character with a name who had no voice. So the fact that we were actually able to play as Mason and he had a character and he had a personality, was a real serious step in the right direction. I'm really one of the few guys that actually likes to play these Call of Duty games for the story, and I think that this was really the beginning, or really one of the best forms of actually playing a character that actually felt like a real character and wasn't just like a name, just a voiceless character who didn't have a say in what was going on in the world around him. So that's why I really think that Black Ops was probably one of the best games that we've had in the last couple of years. And that goes on to number 1. Now, my all-time favorite Call of Duty game of all time was, you know, some people also consider this to be their favorites, and that is Call of Duty World at War. I'm a serious history buff, as I said before, and World War II is an absolutely fascinating war to study. So the fact that really the last truly amazing Call of Duty game took place in World War II is just a standing ovation to what Call of Duty used to be and how it's kind of lost touch of its roots. Now, what I liked about World at War was that it was simple. Modern games like Advanced Warfare and Ghost and Black Ops 2, they focus so much on relying on all this technology when you kind of forget that there was a time where you couldn't rely on all this technology. It was just this large group of guys. You had to charge down a large battlefield. You knew you were going to lose a lot of guys. But nowadays, it's kind of focusing on making sure that we're using small teams to achieve larger goals. And although that may be how war is fought today, or missions are handled today, I kind of just not a big fan of that. There's really no sense of Call of Duty. You're just doing it because it's your job. But I think the term Call of Duty fits more with past wars than it does with modern wars. And there is no other game in the franchise that was able to capture that as well as World at War. There were missions where you got to drive as a tank on the Russian front. There was missions where you got to fly in a kind of a biplane that could land on the water, and you had to cover the Pacific Fleet. There were missions where you took part in specific battles that if you've done your history on Warfare, you know that these battles actually took part, and you knew how many people died. And so to actually have a final moment, to actually kind of engage and take part in these iconic battles was just a truly amazing experience, and I just hope that maybe someday we can go back to that. Some people don't want to go back to that. They say World War II is done with, but I think that with the current direction that we are going, in which the current Call of Duty games kind of both take place in the future, it just kind of doesn't give us much variety. They both play the same. They both look the same. So let's go back to the past and see if we can relive some of those glory moments just one more time. And that is why World at War is my favorite Call of Duty game of all time. Now that I know of my list, I would like to know what are some of your guys' favorite Call of Duty games. Please share your list with me in the comments down below, and if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to track me in my future videos like this one. And like always, thank you guys for watching. You're awesome, and I will see you next time.